Hi,
What's up, homeboy?
how are you?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Nice BINOD.
What is your name?
My name is BINOD, you're also BINOD. I'll make whole world into BINOD.
Let me convert into a female voice. Okay. Why the hell everyone is talking about BINOD?
I don't know what you said.
Okay. Who the hell is BINOD?
Everyone is BINOD. You're BINOD. I'm BINOD. The whole world is BINOD.
Tell me about BINOD.
BINOD is someone who comments his name everywhere.
So guys, that was a quick demo of what we are going to make in this project. Okay, so first of all, obviously we need HTML, CSS and JS. So let's just quickly make these three files. So index.htm or HTML, whatever you write, and then style.css and app.js. Okay, you can basically perform like obviously we wrote only few lines of codes so that it can do the basic things, but if you want to make it more advanced, you can add a lot of if else statements. Okay, we are going to see that in JavaScript. Okay, so first let's make the basic structure of the HTML. So I am going to just write this exclamatory symbol, then press enter. It will just give you the basic structure, and here I'll just write BINOD assistant. Right, and now I'll just write one container, and inside the container div I'll just make a box div, and here it will be divided into two parts. First part will be the voice changer part, like where the default voice and female voice buttons are present, and then we will make the normal section where we will see what you talk and whatever the assistant will reply. Okay, but before that, let's just link this HTML with CSS and JS. Okay, so link CSS, and at the end of it let's just write script JS, app.js. Okay, so now these two are now successfully linked, and inside the box first let's make the voice changer part. So I'll just write voice changer. Oops, what's going on over here? Let's just write it again, voice changer. Okay, and inside the voice changer we need two buttons. First the default one, and the second button will convert the default voice into a female voice. Okay, so I'll just write button dot default, and we also need one more class, that is active and inactive. Like first obviously the default one will be active, and when the user will click the female one, then the female one will be active, right? So button dot default dot active, because initially this default one will be active. Okay, and here I'll just write a default voice, okay, or something like that. Okay, and then we need one more button for female, so I'll just write, oops, it should be button dot female dot inactive. Okay, and here I'll just write female voice. All right, now we successfully wrote these two buttons, and now after this voice changer div we are going to write a heading. So div dot heading. Okay, and here I'll just write BINOD assistant, or whatever you wanna name this particular heading, and then we need this talk button, right? So button dot talk, like if the user wants to say something, he has to click on this talk button. Okay, so I'll just write a default text talk, and when we hover over that section it is going to change something. We'll do that using JavaScript. Okay, and now we need two more sections where first section will contain whatever you said, and the second section will contain whatever this assistant replied. Okay, so I'll just write voice assistant, oops, dot voice assistant. It should be a class of it, voice assistant, and here I'll just write two more blank div. First one will be your text, whatever you said, and then I'll just write the answer. Okay, whatever this assistant answered. Okay, now let's just open the live server. So you can see by default this looks something like this, okay, and yeah, now you can see this looks something like this. So let's just do some stylings, okay. So yeah, let's just make a star so that we can make the padding and margins to 0. So margin 0, padding 0, okay, and then text decoration to none, okay, and text emphasis to none. All right, and oops, and after that let's just write body, and here also I'm going to write text align center so that everything comes into the center. And then I'll make a simple transition so that whenever you click some buttons, there should be a simple animations, right? So transitions all 1.5 is right. And now let's just make a height of this particular container. Now if I save it, you can see this looks something like this. This total section is in the center, but I want to convert this total section to the full width, full height actually. So I'll just write container is height should be 100 VH, okay, and we don't need to write anything inside the container. And now let's just write the box, okay. So box is basically it's inside the container, okay. So let's just write over here margin auto so that it can give equal number of margin to the top and right, top and bottom, okay, so that it can comes to the center vertically. Now let's just make some width and height. So width will be 800 pixel and the height will be 80 VH so that it can keep some space for the margins on the top and bottom, okay. And now here I'll just write position relative, and let's just write top 50%, transform translate y minus 50% so that it can be totally centered of the screen, okay, no matter it's vertically or horizontally. All right, and now let's just write some borders. Before that, let me just save it and see where is that. Well, you can't see anything. Let's just make a background. So background color is hashtag EEE, and now save it. Yeah, now you can see we have this box over here, right? And now let's just make some border. So border is 0.3 pixels solid, and the color is RGB 82, 82, 82. And now let's just write some box shadow. So box shadow 3 pixel, 5 pixel, then oops, it should be 3 pixel, and then 5 pixel and 6 pixel, okay, and CCC, save it. And now it looks something like this, okay. So this container looks great actually, but the thing is, like, it is not showing those buttons and all those kind of things. Maybe we did some mistake. Yeah, this should be the container. So I'll just quickly copy this class from here and paste it over here. I just misspelled this thing. Now save it. Yeah, now you can see it's totally in the center, in the vertically and as well as the horizontally, and it has a really cool box shadow and some border line, okay. And now we will need to do these sections to its particular position, okay. So I'll just write over here that particular voice changer part. That means these two buttons, default voice and female voice buttons. So in the styling part here, I'll just write the voice changer. Okay, let's just quickly copy this class name from here because I don't want to do the spelling mistake again, okay. And here I'll just write, it should be a flex display, so display flex, okay, because I want them to evenly spaced, okay. So I'll just write justify content space evenly. All right, and now let's just set some top and bottom margin. We don't want the margin to be like left and right side, so I'll just write margin 30 pixel 0, okay. So this 30 pixels means it will give some space to the top and bottom, okay. And after that I'll just write the heading part, so dot heading, okay. Let's just do one thing. Let's just make this BINOD assistant into the h2 tag, okay. h2 Here I'll just write BINOD assistant, and let's just make a p tag after that so that we can keep this border bottom. Okay, save it. Perfect. And here I'll just write the margin should be 15 pixel to the top and bottom, and auto to for left and right. Okay, and the color will be RGB 66,66,66. Okay, save it, and it looks something like this. Okay, well, yeah, it looks something like this. You can see the default voice and the female voice is totally separated from each other. And yeah, now let's just make styling for this particular BINOD assistant. So dot heading h2, and here I'll just write the font size to be 54 pixel. Okay, save it. Yeah, now you can see it looks bigger now. And now I just want to add that border bottom to that so that it should have some kind of underlines or something like that. Okay, so here I'll just write dot heading p border bottom, and here it should be 1 pixel dashed, and the color will be RGB 46. Okay, and then we will just write some margin to auto, and I am going to set some width to it. So width will be around 20 pixel. Oops, it should be 50%, sorry. And the height will be 20 pixel. Okay, and then text align to be center, because now if I just save it, you can see it added this line over here. Okay, but it's so small, actually it should be 50%. Save it. Yeah, now it looks good. We don't need to write text align. All right, so it's already in the center. Okay, and now let's just customize this talk button. Okay, so you can see it has this class talk. Copy it and paste it over here, and here I'll just write width to be 150 pixel, and we're going to change this width later on using JS. Okay, so width will be that, margin will be 25 pixel 0, because we don't want any margin for left and right, and the font size, font weight, and text transform. Okay, so font size will be around 18 pixel, font weight, it will make some bolder. Okay, it will make it bolder, and 600, and then text transform to uppercase. Okay, save it. Now you can see this button looks something like this. Okay, this text is now in the uppercase, and it has this width and heights. Okay, now let's just change the structure of these buttons. Okay, so there are actually 3 buttons, these 2 and this one. Okay, so the first 2 is under this voice changer class, so I'll just quickly copy it and paste it over here, and the tag is button, right? And there is one more button, that is talk, right? So dot talk, and here I'll just write height to be 40 pixel, padding will be 0 and 20 pixel. Okay, and then border radius to be 5 pixel. It will make some curve to the edges, and then the border should be none, because we don't want any border, and then cursor type will be pointer. Okay, and the box shadow will be 3 pixel, 3 pixel, 5 pixel, 6 pixel, and the color will be grayish color. All right, and then the font size, that is the last thing, font size will be 15 pixel. Okay, now save it and check. Yeah, now you can see these buttons looks quite good now. Okay, and now let's just style these particular contents, this content and this answer section. Okay, so yeah, I'll just write over here dot content comma dot answer, because these are the 2 sections. You can see yeah, you can see this is the answer class and this is the content class. Okay, so for this 2 section, I just want to make this align center. Okay, and then height will be 20 VH, then background will be F5, F3 and F3. Okay, and then the margin will be 20 pixel and 35 pixel. Okay, and then the border, there should be a slight border so that you can separate both the things. So border will be 0.5 pixels solid, and the color will be RGB 219 comma 216 comma 216. Okay, and then vertical align to be middle, and line height will be around 20 VH. All right, and then overflow will be hidden. Okay, now save it, and yeah, now you can see these two sections. The first section will be for whatever you talked, but then second section will be whatever this assistant will answer. Okay, but you can see this default voice and female voice, you can't actually separate these things. You can't actually know which one is currently active. Okay, so the for active one, we just want to do some, we just want to change this font weight and something like that. Okay, so these two buttons are actually these two buttons, right? So it has this active class so that we can separate which one is active, right? So here I'll just write button, oops, it should be button dot active, so that it can know which button has this active class. If the button has the active class, we just want to make the weight to be higher, like 800, and pointer event will be none. Okay, and save it. You can see this one looks good now, but I think 800 is quite high. I mean, let's make it 600. Save it. Yeah, now you can clearly separate these two things. And for the active one, you can't actually click on that. You can see this is the cursor, but if I hover on the active one, you can't actually click on that particular thing, because you can see it is not moving to that cursor pointer. Okay, but if I go into the pointer, I mean female voice, which is currently inactive, you can see the cursor is now in the pointer, and you can actually click on this female voice. Okay, so this is all about the stylings. Now the styling is done. Now let's just go into the JS and let's just make the chails. Okay, so first of all, obviously we need some array of answers. Okay, for example, if you ask how are you, it is going to answer I'm good, I'm fine, or I'm good, how are you, or what's up, or something like that. Okay, so you have to make an array of all the answers so that you can loop over like random one from those arrays. Okay, so I copied all the answers related to BINOD, and let's just paste that thing. You can see I have the greeting variable, which contains, like, if you ask how are you or good morning or hi, hello, it is going to reply these things. Okay, then health, like if you want to ask I am good, what's about you, what's up, or something like that, it's gonna reply I am fine, how are you, or I'm good, you can ask me BINOD related questions, or I'm good, or something like that. Okay, then if you ask something for BINOD, it is going to reply everyone is BINOD, your name, and those kind of sentences. Okay, and if you wanna make greetings to more attractive, like more related to the topic BINOD, you can also make one more variable, greetings to, and here I'll just make some values like nice BINOD, okay BINOD, I'll convert your name into BINOD, or something like this. Okay, now it's parts to DOM. Okay, so here we just need to create the variables whatever you wanna where you want to perform certain actions. Okay, for example, I just want to perform certain actions when someone click on this talk, right? Because when someone click on this talk, I just want to listen whatever he talks, right? So here I'll just write const btn is equals to, it should be btn is equals to document dot query selector, and the class name is actually talk. Okay, then we also need to find out that particular content section and an answer section. That means these two div. Okay, blank div. So const content equals to document dot query selector. Here I'll just write dot content. Okay, and then const answer is equals to document dot query selector. It should be dot answer. Okay, and then we want two more variables for this default voice and female voice. So I'll just write const default btn is equals to document dot query selector. Here I'll just write that particular class name, that is default. Okay, so default, and then const female btn is equals to document dot query selector. It should be have female class. Okay, female. All right, now we created every particular variable which we are going to need throughout this JavaScript. Okay, and now let's just create the speech synthesis utterance. So const speech will be equals to new space speech synthesis utterance. Where is that? Yeah, this one. Okay, and now we just need to check whether the browser supports it or not. Okay, so we can just write const, obviously we need to store that thing, const speech recognition is equals to window, because this is the class of window dot speech recognition. Okay, speech recognition. Okay, and if the user obviously use some older browsers like Internet Explorer or something like that, it will not going to perform this assistant kind of things. Okay, and if the user is using Google Chrome, we just wanna make a or, then window dot webkit speech recognition. Okay, so we have these two options. If the user is using Firefox or something like that, it is going to call this one. If the user is using some browser where this is not there, it will just check for this one. If both the things is not there, it will not perform anything. Okay, and now let's just write const recognition is equals to new dot new speech recog, whatever you created over here, right, or whatever you write over here, the variable name, you have to write that thing so that it can create an object for that particular class. Okay, now it's time to start our recognition and stop our recognition. Okay, so I'll just write recognition, whatever you created the variable name, dot on start. Okay, on start, and here I'll just make a function where it will actually start listening to your words. Okay, so I'll just write console.log so that we can find out whether it's working or not. Here I'll just write listening. All right, and now when the user stop talking, like recognition on result, okay, that means when the user will stop talking, it will call this function. Okay, and here I'll just write console.log voice recording ended. Okay, and now let's just make a variable so that we can store all the things. Okay, so let's just write transcript, and it will be nothing but e dot, actually we need to pass e over here, that is the event. And actually we can do one thing, let's just cut it for now, let's just print the e only. Okay, let's print e, and here I'll just write btn dot add event listener click type. If the user click on that, it will call this function, it will take e, and inside the function we just need to start listening, so recognition dot start. Okay, now save it and let's go into the console. So now currently I am in the console, you can see I am in the console. Now if I click on this talk hello, yep, so you can see it printed actually e. Why? Okay, it should not be in the quotation mark. Okay, save it, and now again if I place talk, now you can see I'm talking, it is listening that thing. But if I stop talking, yeah, so you can see it printed this event, that is the e. Okay, because we printed e over here, and from here we have the results, right? And inside the results, let me just, yeah, you can see inside the result it has this length 1, that means it stored that particular result, right? And for result index it is 0, right? So let's just do one thing, let's just print out whatever you said. Okay, so here I'll just write e dot results. Okay, it should be results, and in the box bracket first one is this result index, and since we are going to talk only one time, it's obviously 0, so we can just write 0, or you can pass this one result index. Okay, 0 and again 0 for this result. Okay, so this will be 0 0, this is a 2-dimensional array. All right, and here I'm going to just write transcript. Okay, now save it, and if I talk now, how are you? Yeah, So now you can see it printed whatever you talked, right? So it's working. So let's just save this thing inside a variable where I'll just write const transcript is equals to this thing. Okay, let's just remove this one. Okay, and now we also want to like print this thing over here, right? So whatever you talked, it should show that thing inside this first blank section. So this first blank section has this class content. So I'm just going to write content dot text content to be changed to transcript. Okay, and now if I save it, and now if I talk how are you, you can see it printed that thing over here, how are you. Okay, and now we will call one more function, that is read sentences. Okay, it will obviously take the transcript. All right, and now let's just make that particular function. So function read sentences, and it will take the message. All right, so it should be message, and here first we are going to check whether the browser support this speech synthesis utterance or not. Okay, so if the browser don't support, it will just show an alert that your browser doesn't support this thing, just change your browser. Okay, if not speech synthesis, what is the spelling actually, let me just copy it from here. Okay, paste it over here. If speech synthesis not in window, okay, that means if the browser doesn't support this thing, then just make an alert of change your browser. Okay, actually we don't need to write not over here because we already write the symbol of not over here, right? So it should be removed, and this is in lowercase. All right, and else, that means if the browser supports everything, we are going to perform certain tasks. Okay, speech dot text, which will be containing the answer. For now I'm just containing the message. Whatever you said, it is going to say the same thing. Okay, then we are going to change this thing. Okay, and oops, it should not be text content, it should be only message. Okay, and here I'm going to just change the volume and those kind of things. So speech dot volume should be 1, and then speech dot pitch should be 1. Okay, and then speech dot rate should be 1, and now we just want to speak the message. Okay, so here I'll just write window dot speech synthesis, which we actually checked where over here, like if this browser support this thing, then you can perform this thing. Okay, otherwise it will obviously throw this alert. So speech synthesis dot speak, and here the message will be nothing but the speech. Okay, save it, and now if I just talk something like what's your name,
What's your name?
so yeah, you can see it answered whatever you said, right? So it's working fine. And now let's just do one thing. We don't want to return whatever the user said. We just want to choose some answer from these arrays, right? So it's pretty simple. You just need to write if else statements. So here I'm going to just write a if statement. If the message dot to lowercase dot includes, okay, if the message includes, for example, if I just write good, and if the message includes this thing, then choose something from this greetings too. Okay, nice BINOD, okay BINOD, or something like that. Okay, so here I'll just write const final answer, okay, is equals to, or I'll just write final text is equals to that greetings to, and inside the box bracket you actually need to choose some random answer from this array, right? So we can just write math dot random. Okay, and here it will basically choose a random value between 0 and 1. Okay, so we obviously need to multiply this thing with greetings or whatever the variable name is there, dot length. Okay, so that it can return some higher values than 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, whatever there is, less than the length of the greetings or the variable, right? But it will be in the decimal value. We just want to change it to floor. Okay, so just let's just put it in the parentheses, and here you just need to write math dot floor. That's it. Okay, and now if I gonna say something which has this good word, okay, for example, I'm good.
I am good.
Okay, it written that thing. That is because of we didn't change this speech text over here, right? So it should be speech dot text will be nothing but the final text. Okay, and then we also need to show this answer on this particular blank section, second blank section, right? Second blank section is this answer class. So here I'll just write answer dot text content is that particular final text. And now if I save it and say something which has this good word, like this dog is good.
Okay, BINOD.
You can see I said I like a big dog is good, but yeah, kind of matches what I said, but it written okay BINOD. That is from this greeting 2. You can see it is the second sentence inside this greeting 2 array, right? So it choose something from this greeting 2. And now let's just make some other conditions, like if the user says something else, hi hello, then it will be something else. Okay, so I'll just quickly copy and paste those things. So yeah, you can see I copied everything. So if the user says good, like if the user says something which has this good, nice, great or fine words, it is gonna choose something from this greetings 2. That means this array. Okay, if the user says something called good morning, hi, hello, good afternoon, let me just quickly word wrap this thing. Yeah, good afternoon, then good night, and then this kind of words, then it is gonna choose something from this main greeting array. Okay, and then if the user says something like how are you, what's up, and are you good or something like that, it is gonna choose something from this health array. And if the user says something which is this BINOD word, tell me about BINOD or this kind of things, then it is gonna choose something from this BINOD array. Then yeah, similarly if the user asks something like what is your name, tell me about yourself, it is gonna reply only one line, that is my name is BINOD, you are also BINOD, and I'll make the whole world into BINOD. Okay, so and if nothing works, like if the user said none of this above, we should have a default value, right? So we can just write over here const fallback, okay, which will be nothing but when user said something which doesn't match with any of the conditions, it is gonna say this default word. Okay, speech dot text is equals to, for example, I don't know what you said. Okay, something like that, it is gonna do that thing. Okay, now save it, and now if I talk, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Tell me about yourself.
My name is BINOD. You're also BINOD. I'll make whole world into BINOD.
So you can see it's working, right? So now there are few more things to do, like the voice is not changing, it is the default voice, that is the male voice. We obviously need to change to the female voice or some other voices, whatever you choose. There are mainly so many voices, I guess more than 20 voices, so you can choose any of them. And we also need to change this button when the user hover over that particular section. So we actually make an event for click. If the user click on it, it is gonna listen whatever the user said, right? But what if the user hover over that particular section, we just want to change this text. Okay, so we can just write over here btn dot add event listener, and if the mouse enter that particular section, okay, then we will just change some default styling. All right, and here I'm going to just write e dot target. That means e dot target means that particular button. Okay, text content will be changed to press to talk. Okay, and then e dot style dot e dot target dot style, because e dot target means that particular button. So e dot target dot style dot width. because you can see this press to talk is really long sentence, because by default is talk, so 150 pixel of width is perfect. But when you write this long sentence, you need to change the width to something like 200 pixel or something like that. Let's just put it inside the quotation. All right, and now we just need to add some box shadow. So e dot target dot style dot box shadow will be nothing but like 3 pixel, then actually it should be 5 pixel, 5 pixel, then again 5 pixel and 6 pixel, and the color will be CCC. All right, and when the mouse goes outside of the section, by default if I save it, you can see this is talk, right? But if I hover over that particular section, it's through an error, e is not defined. All right, so we have to pass e over here. Okay, oops, what happened? Yeah, save it. Now if I hover over this talk option, you can see it's changed to press to talk. But when I remove this mouse button from this particular section, it's still that thing, press to talk. We don't want to do that. We just want to fall back to the default one, right? So we can just write over here one more event, that is btn dot add event listener. When the mouse leave that particular section, then we are going to call a function which will take an event as an argument, and then inside there I'll just quickly copy it and paste it over here, and it should be the default text, that is talk. The width will be 150 pixel, which is the default one, and the box shadow will be 3 pixel and 3 pixel. Okay, now save it and check. Yeah, you can see it is talk. When I go over here, it's press to talk. If I remove, it's again talk. Okay, so it's working, right? And now let's just make this default voice and female voice functional, because by default it is the male voice, and if you click on it, nothing happens, right? You can see, but we have to make this functional, right? So we have this default btn and female btn, so we have to do default btn dot add event listener. When someone click on it, then do something else. And similarly for female btn, it should be female btn, yeah, female btn dot add event listener. When someone click on this female btn, it's gonna do these functions. Okay, so you can see this default btn is this particular button, then the female btn is this button, which is the next button of this default btn, right? So when someone click on the default btn, that means he's already in the female btn. Let's do first with the female btn, then we'll do the same thing with the default btn. Okay, so if someone click on this female voice button, that means he's already in the default voice, right? So we can just write e dot target, which is nothing but the female btn, female button, this one, and we just want to change the active class from here to here, because we just want to remove the active class from the default voice, and we just want to add that particular active class to the female voice, right? And so let's just make two variables, const current btn, which is the e dot target, okay, and const prev btn, which is actually, I guess it should be const. Okay, so prev btn will be nothing but the e dot target dot previous element sibling. Where is that? Previous element sibling. Okay, if someone click on the target, it will be the current button, and the previous button will be the default one, right? And the default one has the active class. We just want to move the active class to the current btn. So we can do one thing, prev btn dot class list dot remove, it should be remove, and just remove the active class from there. Okay, and add the active class to current btn dot class list dot add the active class. Okay, and the previous button should have the inactive class, right? So prev button dot class list dot add inactive. Okay, it's actually inactive class. Let me just check. Yeah, it's inactive, right? And remove the inactive class from this current btn, right? So current btn dot class list dot remove the inactive class. All right, so now I'll just quickly copy it, paste it inside the default one. So when someone click on the default btn, the current btn is the default btn, right? But we just want to remove the active class from the female voice button, right? Which is the next button of the default button. It is not the previous button. So we have to change this previous to the next element sibling. Okay, similarly it should be also next. Okay, and I'll just quickly copy it, paste it over here as well as here. All right, and now save it. And well, there is some error on line 19, line number 19. Okay, so it should be a function which will take e. Okay, here also it will take e. Okay, and now if I save it and check, you can see the default voice is this one, which is in the bolder format. If I click on this female voice now, you can see now it is the bolder format, right? Similarly, when I click on this default voice again, yeah, now you can see it's changing. All right, so that means this is working. And now we have to change the voice also. So for female one, if the user click on the female button, then we just need to change the voice, speech.voice. Okay, and you can also do one thing, you can check all the voices. So console.log speech synthesis dot get voices. If you write these get voices, it is gonna return all the voices present in your browser. Now save it and let's just open the console. You can see this is the console. Now if I click on this female voice, well, it is returning an empty array. That means my internet connection is currently slow because there are a lot of voices. It's take 5 to 10 seconds to gather all the voices. Okay, so let's just move to the default voice again. And now if I click on this female voice, it's been like 10 seconds now. So if I click on it, you can see it's returned all the voices. Okay, now if I go into there, you can see we have all the voices. 0 is the Microsoft David, which is the default one, that is a male voice. Then we have the Zira Microsoft, and then we have some more voices for Google voices, Hindi, UK English, UK female, male, and all those voices. You can choose any of them. For regional voices, there are also regional voices, you can see over here. Okay, so I'll just choose the David desktop voice for the default voice and the Microsoft Zira desktop voice for the female voice. Okay, so we can just write over here, let's just remove this line, speech dot voice. If you want to change the voice, you have to write speech dot voice. And here I'm just going to write speech synthesis dot get voice, because it is gonna get all the voices from this speech synthesis. And here I just want to filter the voice with that one, Microsoft Zilla, that particular one. Okay, so here I'm just going to make a function which will take a voice as a argument. Okay, and here I'm just going to write return voice dot name is equals to that particular Microsoft one. I'll just quickly copy and paste it over here. So you can see I just pasted that particular name, that is Microsoft Zira desktop - English United States. Okay, so this is the voice for that female one. So we have to do the same things with the default one. Okay, but we just need to change this Zira with David, I guess. Yeah, it's the David one. Okay, now save it, and now let's go into our assistant. Let's just close this one. Let's wait for 5-10 seconds. It's better to use some splash screen or something like that to open this assistant, so that the splash screen will take 3 to 5 seconds to load up, and at that time it will load that all the voices. Okay, so now if I talk something, what is your name?
My name is BINOD. You're also BINOD. I'll make whole world into BINOD.
So you can see it's in the male voice, that is the David one, right? And now if I go into the female voice, and now if I talk, tell me about BINOD.
BINOD is someone who comments his name everywhere.
So you can see the voice is not changed, right? So I guess we did some mistakes. Let's just check it out. Well, yeah, so it will just return an array of this voice, right? It will just return the array of this this particular voice, which will have a lot of things like the voice thing, then the name, then the length of it, then pitch, and all those kind of things. We just want to choose the voice only, so it will be 0, it will be in the 0 index. Okay, similarly we have to do the same things with over here. Okay, save it, and let's just put semicolon after these things. Save it, and now if I talk, what is your name?
My name is BINOD.
It's in the
You're
default
also
voice, that
BINOD.
is the David voice.
I'll make whole world
And
into BINOD.
now if I choose the female voice and talk, tell me about Binod.
Everyone is BINOD.
Now you can
You're
see the voice
BINOD.
is changed.
I'm
It's now
BINOD.
female voice.
The whole world is BINOD.
Similarly, if you talk, hi,
How are you doing today?
you can see it's working. How are you?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Nice BINOD.
So you can see everything is working, right? So this is all about this assistant. If you want to add more things, more customization, you can just make an array for that, or you can directly write over here. It's just a else if statement. Okay, just make a one more else if, put the conditions. If the user say these words, these keywords, then do these things. Okay, then say this particular line, this particular, or choose between this from that particular array or something like that. Okay, you can modify it in any format. Okay, you can also write your regional languages by choosing the regional voice. Okay, you can just go into the get voices and choose your language and do whatever you want to do.